bulk fill composites really started around, I don't know, 2010 or so with some of these materials you see here. And all of these materials have had changes over the years and new iterations of materials. And, what Ivoclar started with Tetric Evostrand bulk fill has evolved, right? We're now onto newer phases of these that are actually much better. And the ones that I want to talk about today are the Tetric Power Fill and Tetric Power Flow. This is a flowable and a paste combination that were really designed to work together. And these are great for posterior direct restorations. I'm going to be honest with you, I'm not using this in the anterior. So I'm getting 110, 120 bucks for a class 1 composite. I don't have time to place 9 increments of composite. And certainly biomimetic dentists can show you boatloads of data to tell you that this is the right thing. I can also show you boatloads of data that show you that bulk fill composite, when placed in good isolation, does just as good as these. And again, the pragmatic part for most of us is that most of us aren't getting $600 or $700 for an occlusal composite. So laying down 9 different increments, all of different shades, with maybe a little bit of ribbon down at the bottom of it to act as quote unquote rebar, right? That doesn't make sense pragmatically in our practices. So instead of this, let's do this. Fewer increments is better. Every time we place an increment of composite in a tooth, we risk 2 things. Number 1 is contamination. Number 2 is a bubble or a void, right? Both those are bad. So let's minimize the number of increments. And the Power Cure system really helps. Power Cure system, when you use all of these components together by Ivoclar, you can do 3-second curing of 4mm increments. Yang is a graduate student at the university near my office, and we are in caries control on Yang. He's got caries everywhere. So we know we've got to get all these caries taken care of before we move on with other treatment. I know that these are going to be big and they're going to be deep. And by the time I get them prepped open, you can see they are big and they are deep. And at some point, one of these is probably going to need some indirect restorative. But we got a mouthful of these. I literally cannot go and blow his entire resources on 2 teeth on the upper left side, right? So we've got to be able to do direct composite here until we can stage out some more exotic treatment on him, right? So we got him prepped out. They're deep pulpally, right? And they're wide buccolingually. So we've got our matrix in. We've got 2 matrices in. We've got 1 wedge and 1 ring. What I want to do is etch and bond both of these together. So I've already done that here. You can kind of see the shininess on this. We're etched and we're bonded. Now I'm going to pick my whitest restoration buccolingually. For me, it's the first premolar here. I'm going to place my first increment. That first increment is my first marginal ridge. Okay, place my first marginal ridge, shape it, use that seam-free, use my OptiSculpt instruments, all of that stuff to shape this first marginal ridge, and I cure that. This was around 4mm or so. So this is IVA Tetric bulk fill. IVA Tetric power fill with maybe a little smidgen of flowable in here, and then cured, shaped and cured. Next thing I do is restore the rest of that tooth all in 1 increment. Everything's less than 4mm here. So I place 1 increment of Tetric power fill, shape it, and cure it. The key is controlling where the flash goes. And look where my flash is. It's mid-buccal, mid-lingual. A little bit here, a little bit here. Easy to clean off with the 7901 finishing burr. 5 seconds, here and here, with a little disc, with a little finishing disc, right in the same spots. What you don't want is you don't want resin in the contact area, right? As we go in proximal, that's where you can't get it. And of course, as we cure it, you can see that opacification there. Looks gorgeous. I think this is a great material to use in that. Tetric Power Fill and Tetric Power Flow works great, makes it easy. Do both of those, even with me stopping to take photographs, in less than 40 minutes.